So, this is part two of what's been happening. I wanted to go through it like a journey as I was going through it, but of course, I couldn't do that because when you're going through it, you can't actually show everything, do everything, say everything because you're showing your hand, and of course, that person will know what you're about to do, and then it doesn't work out. So, I couldn't sue the mistress because she didn't have any money or property or anything for me to take, which I still thought, like, you could still sue them and you could still get something. Like, she had to make payment plans to me. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought that that could happen, but apparently you can't do that. So I was like, that was 3 attorneys that went to look through her stuff and found that she didn't have anything for me to own of value. Did I get the house? No, I did not get the house. Like I said, I signed that paper, and even though I clearly got proof that he changed a lot that was on the paper and stuff, I still went and signed it. And that was on me. That was on me, and as long as he came up with the money to pay me and stuff, basically I couldn't really do much. I tried to do the breach of contract, unfortunately, because I didn't sign my name over to him for the house. That was a breach of contract on me too. So we both were in the breach of contract, even though he was first. And I thought maybe, that could work in my favor, but apparently that's not how it works either, which sucks. So I lost the house. He did have to pay me out for spousal support, and he does have to pay me child support for 18 years, which is great because he should be helping me out with our son. Sucky thing is, my attorney was like, we weren't gonna really go after him for child support. That was something I could take up with the child support people, but because he made that into a plan, and we negotiated that, I had to let go of the thing, which wasn't a big deal to me, but she was saying that he had to sign a paper agreeing to something, and I still got my Medicaid. Me and my son could get Medicaid, and I didn't know it all fell on him, and I don't know why it's falling on him, but apparently he didn't sign the paper, and he doesn't want to sign the paper, so we have to split his medical bills, which is so stupid because I don't know what that's got to do with me and my son having Medicaid. I have no idea, and I don't know what's going on with that because I don't want to sign anything that stops us from getting Medicaid. We need Medicaid. I can't afford to pay them hospital bills. That's why I'm on Medicaid. Everything that he does, I think it's like an aha moment, but in the end, it's really just affecting our son because he needs Medicaid. If I can't pay for a bill, like, I don't know. And he would automatically say, I'll help you, but of course we know that's a lie. And if he did do it, he'd be like, well, I guess you're not going to be getting child support this month. Like, one of those things. It's unfortunate that he can't see past his own ego and just think about the child we created and what's best for, I guess, our situation. He did apologize to me, but it was a watered down apology, one of those I'm sorry if you felt hurt type of things, which of course you hurt me. I was your wife and you had an affair, you lied on me, you manipulated me, you disrespected me, you called me out my name, you betrayed my trust. You shared things that were personal between me and you to other people. You try to make me look bad. I have like an image of in my head, like of how it feels, like a metaphor. Like it's like when you trust somebody so completely, and they're like, "Hey, come for a ride with me." And of course, you're getting in the car. You're like, "Okay, where are we going?" And they're like, "I want to take you somewhere special, and I want to show you something." And you trust them, and then you get out the car, and you're like, "We're in a wooded area," but still, you trust them, so you just go. In any other scenario, you'd be like, "I'm not getting out the car. You taking me to the woods? What's wrong with you?" But because you trust that person and you have no doubt in your mind that they would never hurt you, you do it. And then it's like, as soon as you get farther enough, they just push you in a ditch and push you in a hole. And they say, "Look, I love you. You just got to stay in there for a little bit. I'm not abandoning you. I'm going to take care of you. I promise. I'm going to get you out. You just have to be there just for a little bit." And then they go back home, and then they come back to the hole, and you're like, "What are you doing?" And then they drop down your kid with you and say, "Well, you got our son. You got our kid. It's okay. I'm not going to abandon y'all. I promise. I love y'all. I will never, ever abandon y'all. I'll be back." And then you climb out and you find a way to get out and get your kid out, and you go home, and then everybody's like, "Well, we heard that you abandoned your husband and that you took your son and you just left, and you probably was out there being a hoe and all this." And you're like, "No, he pushed me in a ditch with our kid." And then everybody's like, "He would never do that. No, 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 that's not what happened." And then you show proof. Maybe you Snapchatting it and they didn't know, and you show them that, "Hey, this did happen." And then they're like, "Oh, well, you know, he didn't mean it. He was going through some really tough things." And it's like, so it was shitty when you thought I did it, but now that you know that it was really him, oh, now we're going to just pacify it. We're going to act like, oh, we're going to just put a little Band-Aid on it and just forget it happened. And it's wrong. It's like everybody's enabling him, and it's horrible. And it's just like one of those bitter pills you gotta swallow. And like I said, he apologized, and I guess as he thought about it, he thought of excuses, which his excuses were he didn't feel appreciated, and he said that he felt like he was the only one that wanted to make money, and the only breadwinner, and the only one that was trying, and he was struggling, and he wanted me to get a job. He just didn't know how to tell me, and that I fed him unhealthy food, and that was part of his depression. That's what his therapist said. I know he don't have a therapist. It's probably what his bitch said, what his friend said. And so I was talking to him, and I was like, "I asked you continuously, should I get a job?" And then when he would always say no, I was like, "Okay." And then eventually I was pretty much like the one telling him, "I want to get a job. Like, our son is about to go to school. I can go have a job while he's at school, and I can start driving, and it'll be great." And he was all for it, or at least he pretended to be all for it, but there was no actual move to kind of help me get those things. And he would be like, "Oh, well, I need to see you actually get a job, and then we'll try to make all that happen." But I was like, that's not cool. That's not right that I get a job, and then I'm like, "Hey, I got an interview at such and such time," and he's like, "No, well, I gotta go to work, so how am I gonna make the interview?" It didn't make any sense. But It just shows that he didn't really want me to get out the house and do stuff. And I know why now. Um, I think when he said he didn't feel appreciated, every day he came in the house and I would tell him, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I love you. I love this house that you got us. I'm so grateful for this. Like, I really appreciate you, babe. And he would always say, thank you. You know, I love you too. And I did this for us. You know, it's not just for me. I did it for us because I want to see you and Sebastian happy. Y'all came in here and y'all were happy. You really wanted it. And I got this for you because I love you. So it's not like I didn't say I was appreciative. And I would just hold his back and be like, I appreciate that you go to work for us every day. And like, I love you. And when he was hurt or from work and stuff, I would run bath water for him and put Epsom salt in there and make sure he was good, rub his feet, sit by the tub and just talk with him, tell him how beautiful and handsome he was and stuff. And just, I tried. And I did that almost every single day. Maybe not run the bath water, but I did that every single day. And every single day, almost every single day, I made sure food was hot and ready when he came home. It was not cold and anything. And the day that it was cold, because he came home later than he said he was going to come, he called his brother on the phone and was like, yeah, I'm eating cold food, you know, a working man come home at 11 o'clock and I'm eating cold food. And it was like around 12 a.m. And like, yeah, it's cold. I try to heat it back up, but you said you're going to be home around 11:30 and it's 12 o'clock now, so no, it's not going to be the same. I had all his sauces sitting out, but that's something I had been doing since we were married because it was a show of appreciation for me. It was a show of like, I see that you're working hard and you're doing what you're doing for me, and I appreciate it. And this is my little way of saying I appreciate it. You're going to have hot food every single day. And I did that. And one day he was telling me how he didn't feel appreciated. As I was telling him I appreciate him and love him for everything he did and was saying, you know, I died 1,000 deaths for you, stuff like that, he told me he didn't feel appreciated. So I was like, maybe the words aren't enough. Me saying it isn't enough for him. So I got up and I made him a lunch at like 5 a.m. Well, no, it was around 4 o'clock because I got my son up at 3 a.m. to go pee. And then I went downstairs and started making him lunch and stuff and put it in the refrigerator. And he kind of never looked at it. And I want to say on the second day, I was like, hey, I made you lunch and stuff. Like, you want to look and see what I got you? And he was like, oh, I didn't even know you were making me lunch. And it was like supposed to be like a little, you see a lunchbox in there, you gonna grab it and look in it, but he never did, I guess. And when he looked in it, he laughed at it and he made fun of it. And he was like, I'm gonna show everybody what you made me. And when he did, I was like, what's the problem? This is all the stuff that you bought that you said you wanted to try and you wanted to eat, healthy stuff. And he was like, well, it's nasty. Well, you didn't say it was nasty. This is all the stuff that you wanted. And I got up and I made it for you. And I would write him poetry and put it in his book bag and lunchbox, tell him I love him and stuff, and just stuff like that. So, and as for the food, I started making healthy food. Like, I would make spaghetti and then just put the chopped chicken up in it, like baked chicken or grilled chicken inside the little noodles and sauce instead of like the hamburger to make it healthier but still good. And the thing is, when I made healthy meals, he was never eating the food because he was too busy at his girlfriend's house eating her food and whatever her mom made and stuff. So he would always come home, I'm full. So it wasn't that I wasn't showing that I was appreciative. It's just that he wasn't appreciating what I was doing. He didn't appreciate anything that I did or said or made effort for. He just didn't. And I had thought about it a lot because I was like, what can make somebody turn on somebody so viciously when they've done nothing? What can make them lie and cheat and do all that? And my thing is that it feels like he was very bitter towards me and very resentful because I wasn't working. And it just festered. And he ended up just letting it all out in a very toxic way. Instead of just when I asked, hey, should I get a job? It'd be, yeah, I am struggling. I need you. Like I said, I've always told him we're a team, and if you need me, all you got to do is tag me in, but he didn't want to. And I think he just got so deep in it, and he just let the ego and the pride win. But that's no excuse to treat somebody like that, to treat your family like that. It's no excuse. And there is no excuse for what he did to us. As far as my son goes, like, he came home and he was very upset with me. And he was like, you didn't even care that my eye was swollen. You didn't even care. You didn't even say anything to me. And I was like, I didn't know your eye was swollen. I text your dad all day. I didn't know your eye was swollen. He didn't tell me anything about that. And he was like, well, it was swollen and you didn't text and call and I had to show my 4-year-old. Yes, I did. I did text you, which is crazy that I even had to do that. But I did. And he told me that he felt like his dad didn't love him as much as he loved Oreo. And that whole conversation broke my heart because he was crying and he was like, he don't love me. He told me he don't love me like he loved Oreo as much as he loved Oreo. And I told my son that he may not love him the same as Oreo, but he loves him and he probably loves him more than Oreo. Well, I said he loves you more than Oreo. I said it because I don't want my son hurt. And my son was like, no, he don't. He told me that he loves her more. And I'm not sure if he told him that. He might have just felt it or saw it or took it in a certain way. I don't know because he's 4 and I can't really, but so I told him, Daddy loves you as much as Mommy loves you. We love you. He loves you the same as Mommy. He said, no, he don't. How he love me the same as you? And I was like, he loves you the same as me. Like, he went around singing these little songs to you when you were a baby, going la 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 la. I said, he loves you. And he was like, no, he don't. And he just crawled on top of me and gave me a hug and was crying. And I told him I was so sorry. Because I am so sorry. I didn't want that for my son. And I definitely didn't want him to be feeling some type of way at 4. He shouldn't even be. But whatever. So I tried to fix it. And I told his dad that, that's how he was feeling. And he called me and was like, I don't know why he's feeling like that. And maybe it's because I didn't get him these toys that he wanted. And he wanted it. And I told him he couldn't get everything that he wanted. And I was like, I understand that may be how you show your love or affection towards someone. But what I'm saying is he needs to hear it and feel it more. And he was like, yeah, I understand that. But, he started talking about me babying him and stuff. And then he started talking about, he was like, I know he may yell and scream with you, but he don't do that with us. It's just always a tit for tat instead of just being like, wow, I didn't know our son felt that way. Yeah, I'm definitely going to talk to him and make sure that he knows that I love him. It was just all of that. And at the end of the conversation, I was like, look, I just called to let you know your son was in his feelings. And you just need to tell him and show him that you just love him a little more. Like, point blank, period. And I said, when he said, oh no, I hear you, I understand. I said, okay, well, bye. And I hung up because at that point I was just mad because it shouldn't have been all that. It's like I see people that go through hell and high water to be with their kid, and then you got the baby mamas that don't want to let them and stuff, and you got, anytime he wants to show up to get him, he can get him. Just let me know and I'll have him ready, because I would never keep you from your kid, and I would never keep my son from his dad. And then when my son, I was talking to him about the eye thing, and I was like, he got some bites on his back and a bald spot in his hair, and he was like, oh, well, when I picked him up from your house, he had a bug in his shoe and he had a roach in his bag. And I was like, okay, well, that's something you should have probably told me before this conversation, because it has nothing to do with this conversation. Like, again, tit for tat. Like, who fucking cares about a bug in his shoe? Like, are you serious? Your son eye was swollen and you didn't tell me? Our son has bites on his back and you didn't think to tell me? And then he was like, well, he had those bites when I picked him up, which I know is a lie, because he would have took a picture of his back and he would have been like, look what's on his back, what's going on. This was on his back when I picked him up, and he didn't send me no picture of that, because he loves to show me when something is wrong, or when I'm not doing something right, or when he feels like he could just do stuff like that. And that whole day he didn't send me a picture of him, and now I know why. And it's like, I can't even trust you to just be a goddamn parent and just let me know, like, hey, something is going on with our son. Look, I'm trying to handle it. I'm taking care of it. And again, if something really bad happened, that's what the freak I need Medicaid for, to take him to the hospital and make sure everything's okay. Luckily, everything's okay, and I'm taking care of the bites on his back and stuff. It was just like, even in our custody paper, he brought up that he would like me to tell him when things happen with our kid, like immediately that day, but you didn't tell me. And that's the stuff I'm talking about. You can't do stuff like that. You can't. It's like, he's such a hypocrite. Such a hypocrite. Like, I'll tell him that night after I handled the situation and I feel like my son is okay and he's sleeping. But while you're in the situation, of course, you're not going to be on the phone texting, hey, something's going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, but he didn't tell me at all. Like, he doesn't tell me at all, and then it just makes me not want to try. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to get my son tablet and call you on the tablet so he can talk to you. I don't want to do that. If he says he don't want to talk, then I want to be like, forget it then, since that's the way we playing. But I don't want to be that parent that does tit for tat. But it's so hard to do that with somebody who just, all they want to do is play games. It's like, we're too old for that. And like, we were so much better than this. But I don't know. It's like he reverted backwards, or maybe he's showing me exactly who he always was. But this was not the person I had fell in love with or knew for 9 years. This was not him. But he loves the person he is now. He thinks everybody would be proud of him. It's like, it's so messed up that I get all the hard questions. Like, why are we here and daddy's there? Why is Oreo in the house and we don't get to go home and stuff like that? Like, I get the hard questions and he don't get any of that. Like, how does he get away so free from everything? It's not fair. And I got a friend who's amazing, and sometimes I don't treat him the best. Not purposely, and I don't be rude or mean to him or anything like that. Just sometimes I just stop talking to him because I go through so much, and I don't want to just unleash that on him every time we talk, you know? So I just don't, and he's been a great friend. Like, when I just want to escape and just go, he's like, hey, I'll pick you up, or I'll call you a ride over here, and you can just chill, watch a movie. I'll make you dinner, and you can just go to sleep on the couch watching all the scary movies you want. He's that type of friend, and he's so amazing. And sometimes I'm a little jerkish by not calling, which I'm going to try to do better at that, to keep in touch with him. But, I just don't want to. I feel like sometimes I'm using him because he's like an escape for me. And I told him that. But he said, if I'm willing to let you come and be an escape, then what's the problem? And I'm like, well, I know that you're a nice guy, so I know that you're just gonna allow it. And that's even wrong. That's even fucked up. Like, because somebody will let you use them, so you use them. But I'm not really using him. I need a friend, and that's my friend. But, it's complicated. It's so complicated. But, yeah, this whole thing it's just gonna have so much of an effect on my son. And it's so sad. I wish the person that I knew for so long would come back and be like, hey, this dude needs to go because he's ruining everything, and I'm not about to let him do that. I wish he'd come back to his senses. But like I said, I don't know if this is just who he actually is, or because I know he can adapt in any situation if he's just adapted to a new situation, because he's definitely not facing this head on or rational or like he said he would. And he used to tell me all the time if I cheated on him or do anything like that, I was a hoe. And he was going to let everybody know I was a hoe. And I never disrespected this man. I called him out his name. And for him to go around telling everybody that I cheated and I lied and manipulated, and then for me to prove that he's a liar and that he was the cheater and that he was the manipulator and he was all those things, it feels so wrong. It feels so wrong, but that's life, right? That's life. That's why I always hated stories where the good guys win, because it's not real life. They don't always win. They don't. That's real life. You don't always win. No matter how good you try to be, how faithful, nice, sweet, courteous, whatever, sometimes you just don't win. And I used to think that because I thought I was going to get a job and we were going to be together and stuff like that, I used to think about how I would surprise him and have flowers in the car, or buy him like a watch or some new underwear, little stuff, and just have it on the bed or have something in the car for him all the time, just to be like, hey, I appreciate all the years you put in work and worked for me and Sebastian when I didn't have a job. I wanted to just treat him and spoil him, and I'm so happy that he showed me who he was, because I could not imagine doing all that shit for somebody who would have been so ungrateful about it, and who probably would have took the flowers I got him and gave them to her. So I'm so happy he showed me who he was. And he asked me one point, he was like, if I was so horrible, then why did you still want to be with me? And I was like, I had no answer for that. And my answer was that I had unconditional love for him. No matter what he did, I loved him. It was unconditional. Everything we've been through, everything he put me through, everything he said, everything he did, I still had unconditional love for him. When I moved out the house, I imagined him seeing all of his family stuff packed. And he would be like, this is too much and it's gone too far. I thought he would just be unpacking our stuff like, y'all not going nowhere. Or at least unpacking our son's stuff like, you're not taking him nowhere. And when I was leaving, and I thought he could visually see me and his son leave, I thought that would make him just get in the car, drive over and be like, don't leave. That's our son. Let me be with him. Don't do this. And he didn't do any of that. He just called the girl, I'm ready. She left your key. You can come home now. Like, he just took our home from us. Like, it just wasn't anything. And then when I was here at my parents' house, I was thinking, like, he would come over and apologize and tell me how sorry he was and that he was gonna put her out. And of course, I wouldn't come home. I would make him wait for like a month or two, because that's what he deserved, to wait a month or two, maybe more, before I came back home and tried. But he didn't do any of that. He started bringing the girlfriend to my parents' house, even more disrespectfully. Like, he didn't even say, hey. It was like he didn't miss us, and I couldn't believe it. Like, how can you not miss the sound of us when that's all you heard for 9 years? How could you not miss your little boy running down the stairs or running out of the kitchen, jumping into your arms saying, I love you? How could you walk by his room every day and not see him in there, or see me in there goofing around with him, playing hide and seek, laughing? Like, how could you just go on in that house and not miss us? How could you walk into the kitchen and not think of me sitting in the little, the little sunroom area reading a book, or me sitting at the table asking you how your day was, or me lounging on the couch saying, I miss you, Gigi, where you been? Like, how could you not? I thought the memories of us would make him miss us, especially since we were his family and we didn't deserve it and we didn't do anything. I thought he would just miss us. Everything I did, like everything we've been through, we were best friends, thick as thieves, and like, you didn't miss me and clearly didn't miss our son. And now it just shows that, like, he just is moving on, living his best life, because he doesn't have to take care of anyone. Like, and maybe that was the whole thing. Like, he just didn't want to be a dad and didn't want to be a husband. Like, he's good with seeing his son 2 days out of the week. He's good. And I don't know. I couldn't have done that. First of all, if I cheated, I would have never put my husband out of the house or try to get him to sign papers or anything. I would have been like, this is fucked up. It probably would have just let the dude know, look, you just gonna have to fucking wait until I get stuff settled, because I'm not just gonna put my family out of my house just to move you in. And if I would have seen that he was packing stuff, I probably would have unpacked some of the boxes just to make him pack all over again. And then if I would have seen them visually leaving the house, I would have been in the car telling my boss that it was a family emergency, and I'd have been begging him not to do it. Even if he was there with his mom or his sister or his brother and they were loading up the car and they were like, get away from us and stuff, I would have still been begging him. I would have been showing up at his grandma's house or his mama's house and be like, come home, I'm sorry, like, we're gonna make it work out. Or if we can't be together, then at least come home where I know y'all are safe until, you're on your feet. Let me help. Like, we can just try to, salvage something, salvage our friendship, salvage like something. But that's what happens when you have unconditional love for somebody and you are willing to put your pride and your ego and everything away. When you are not, then yeah, you adapt to new situations and new surroundings, and you accept some things that you probably never would have accepted from your spouse, but now, you're adapting. So it's very sad, and I wish that I didn't have to go through this, and I wish with all my heart that our son didn't have to go through this, and I wish that he'd wake up one day and just be a good dad, just be a good person, because at this point, it's like, why do I even try to include you in things like, hey, look at the school supplies I got. Hey, got him a new book bag. Hey, this is what he looks like today. Hey, look at his braids today. Hey, I'm going to make sure he calls you. I'm going to tell him to call you. Like, why do I make the effort? Why not just leave you on red You know, why not send you one picture and then just be done with it for the rest of the week or month? And I'm like, you would think he would just make the effort since our son will be going to school. I would think that's something you want to continuously see. Like, what's his outfit for today? What did he do? Who's his friends? What did he say? Like, but now it's to the point where why should I include you? Why? You don't make the same effort. So why should I? Like I said, I don't want to be that parent that goes tit for tat, but sometimes you get tired. You get tired of being the only one doing it and trying. You get tired. And I'm tired. And I mean, I'm the one that provided the cell phone so he could call him. I got him a watch phone so he can call him. And like, you didn't provide a watch phone. You didn't provide tablets so he can keep in contact with me. Excuse me, my son even said he took his tablet so he can't get in contact with me. Like, so are you monitoring my phone calls with him? I don't monitor calls with you. It's just like, this is such a humbling experience because I didn't see myself going like this. I didn't see myself going backwards like this. And I remember he was like, I'm not going backwards. That's something you taught me. We don't go backwards. We move forward. And I said, yeah, we move forward. It's not you move forward or you leave without me. What kind of shit is that? Like, don't try to twist it and make my stuff something that it was never meant to be. It's just sad. It's sad. And sometimes it's just, but this is not the end for me. All right, my beautiful boy. We're going to make videos. My brother gave me a free car. I'm going to wash it up. I'm going to put that up here and get it fixed so you guys see how much it costs to get it fixed around here in Greensboro and what I'll have to do to it. I'm going to get it painted. I'm going to do a lot of stuff. I'm going to start driving, hopefully get a better job, blog it, get a house of my own with my son, and just, I want to do it. And I want to do it, and nobody can take it from me. Nobody could take our home from us again, like our safe haven. Nobody can do that. Nobody can make me feel like I just less than furniture in a house. That's mine. It's me and my sons. And it's our rules. And we're going to be happy. I'm going to make sure that little boy is happy every day of his life. Even though I get on his nerves because I'm his mama. I'm going to make sure he's very happy and he feels very loved and taken care of. It's hard raising a boy, and it's going to be harder raising a teenager and harder raising a man. I just gotta do it. As single parents, that's what we do. Because there's dads out there who have their kids and who moms are just out there living their best lives too. So as single parents, we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta be mommy and daddy. And that's okay. Because they need us. And we just gotta do it. I don't know. I'm not as sad as I was. Like, I'm sad about how my son feels, and every other week is something else, and it's almost like I have to reprogram him to be calm and be okay, because when he comes back, he's just, it's like he can't be himself with his dad. Like, even when his dad was on the phone with him, and he was like, are you excited for school? He was like, yeah. And he looked up at me and said, I'm not excited for school. Shh. Like, he shouldn't have to, like, you shouldn't have to do all that. It should just be like, nah, I'm not really excited for school. Like, he can't even be honest with him. But what does that sound like? Sound like when he can't be honest with me, like, you're gonna get it back through our son. And I remember he said, Sebastian will forgive me. You forgave your parents for stuff. And it's like, yeah, but my parents never did shit to me. They did stuff to each other. They never did stuff to me personally. And, like, you don't forgive your dad, so you can't speak for our son. And you can't bring up my situation or your situation and say, well, Sebastian will because I did. No. He may look at you one day and be like, wow, you really did that. And it may just morph the way he thinks of you. It might show in the way he talks to you, how he acts around you, the respect or lack of respect he may give you. But he doesn't think about all that. He doesn't put him first, his family first. He just puts a girl and himself first. Mostly himself. And it's sad. I wish it was like better or a different situation. I wish he was a better guy. I wish the ego and the pride was just pushed to the side. I wish he would stop listening to people who probably couldn't even raise their kids right, or don't raise their kids right, or don't have no idea how to even be a family or what a family truly is. I wish he'd stop listening to those people and go get real therapy. I told him that if you would have listened to your family and maybe been truthful and not lied, then maybe we wouldn't have ended up here. Maybe if you would have went to family instead of friends and a girl, because girls are going to tell you everything you want to hear. That's one thing I used to tell him. Women will tell you everything you want to hear, and then once they get you and get in that house, it's going to be different. Just like men will tell you anything you want to hear, and then once they move up into the house, you see a different side of them. Like, but she was worth it. She was worth it to him for us to go and her to stay. She was worth it. And he said he's happier. And you can't stop nobody's happiness. And like I said, it wasn't even really about that. Of course, I would have been hurt and devastated losing my family, my husband, but it was more of how he treated me through that process. It's like when you're going through something so horrible and you need your best friend. But I couldn't go to my best friend because my best friend was the one that was hurting me. My best friend was the one doing it. You know, like I begged him to open the door in the bedroom to let me talk to him one night. And it had only been like 2 weeks. And he was saying no, and then then he said, all of a sudden after a little bit, he was like, yeah, okay. And I went in there and we talked and stuff, and I'm not going to say what we talked about, but he was pretty much like, I wish we would have had this talk before all of this. And I was like, all of what? Like, we could still work it out. And he was like, we actually can't now. And I was like, why? He was like, we just can't. And the reason why he said that was because he had already lied on me. He had already said all the horrible things. He had already made up stuff. He had already promised this woman she was moving in the house. He already promised her family. He already made all these promises and did all this stuff. He couldn't go back. Well, he could, but he didn't want to go back. He didn't want to recant. So instead, he hurt me and his son to spare her and her family's feelings. Just like the job thing, he said he couldn't leave Lowe's because he just couldn't, because of the income, but that wasn't true because he left it for her. He just could not leave Lowe's because he could not leave her, which is really sad. It's really sad. It shows who came first to him, what came first to him. I don't have respect for that. Like, and then he'll say stuff like, I don't have money for that. I still have to pay bills. I still have to do this. Am I supposed to feel sorry for you? You took everything from me. Fuck what you gotta pay and what you gotta do. I gotta do stuff too. I gotta pay for stuff too. Like, you not the only one. And he said something to me like, hey, I took y'all out even after I worked all day and stuff like that. So what? I work all day and I come home and I take my son out. I take him to the playground before I go to work. I take him to the playground after I'm from work. I do all that stuff. So what? That's what a parent does. That was what a person do. And he would be like, well, I didn't get time to myself. Yes, you did. I would tell him, look, play with our son for 1 hour. And you could be in the family room all day on the computer. I don't care. 1 hour. That's time to yourself. And clearly you had enough time because you had time to go outside the house and cheat and have affairs and stuff. So you had a bunch of times on your hand. You had too much time. Idle hands are the devil's playground. So that's how I feel about that. Like, all that, I didn't have time to myself. You had a lot of time. You had time to get up and go to the car wash your car. Get up, go to the gym. Get up, go have sex with her. Get up and just go out. And for little drives, you had a lot of time. You went to her family house to eat. That was a lot of time. That was a lot of time. So that was lies. He just did it. He started off doing it just because he did it. And then he made up excuses like, oh, well, she don't have a job. Oh, well, she does this, this, and that. And he just grew bitter and resentful of me for no reason. For no reason to me. I'm sure he felt like it was reason to him, but it's messed up. And even with the taxes, like, we signed something where he's supposed to give me the taxes, and he's getting that $300 a month check from the government, and he's not giving that to me, but he's supposed to be. And I'm still waiting on the IRS and stuff, because I reported that, because that is, you weren't supposed to keep all the money. I don't care how you feel about it. That's not how it works. You don't get to keep all the money. We left the house, and the money was for me, him, and Sebastian. And so for him not to give me anything, that's crazy. And he was so blatant with it. Like, yeah, I got it. I spent it on the attorney fees. You know I'm frugal like that. No, it wasn't yours to spend. Like, are you serious? He does not care. And like I said, he'll just keep being him, because everybody pacify it and they're like, oh, it's okay. But at the end of the day, it's nobody's responsibility to make him take responsibility. It's his. And it's sad that he doesn't have conscience for it. He don't care. And if he do care, well, he's showing me that he cares very little. It's like I see other people, see other guys, and I see them just, they give their baby moms, like, the child support money. They're like, hey, do you need extra money? I would never say I needed the extra money, but it's just like hey, does our son need anything? Does he need clothes? Does he need socks? I see the underwear is a little tight. Do you want me to buy him some? Like, I don't see none of that from him. And he was supposed to be so good. He was supposed to be such a good husband and father, and he just stopped. No effort, no care. It's like our son is like for show. Like, look how good of a dad I am. Look at what I'm doing. And then when my son gets home back with him, then it's like, oh, Like, he didn't even really, like, it's just, okay, time for bed. Okay, you go ahead and sit down and watch TV or something. Like he's just for show. At least that's how it's been put to me. So I can only think of how it is. But to a 4-year-old, it seems like it's just a show. It's not real love. Like, he knows that he cares and he loves him, but he feels like it's not the same. And that's sad. And I have a good friend at work, and she's like, well, you're a bad bitch, and bad bitches, they take care of business, so you gonna be good. And she was like, you know what, you're a great mom. So, because every time I go into the store, I'm finding like little clothes to get him, little toys to take home. Even the guy that works in toys, he's like, hey, I found like this toy. I know you always come in here and buy your son a toy here and there. I got a skateboard that's like $7, Jasmine. Do you want it? Like, I got a whole bunch of Ryan toys I'm about to put on the back shelf. Like, they know that that's my baby, and I'm always trying to buy him something. Like, always. I want to take care of him. I want to take care of him. I'm going to take care of him. Always. I can't wait to drive. It's so random, but I can't wait to drive. I want to go cruising with him. My son was like, we can go anywhere we want to go, and it don't even matter. We can go out to eat. We can go sit down. We can just ride. We can do whatever we want to do. And I was like, that's right. That's motivation right there. We're going to do whatever we want to do, even if we just ride all day. Even if we ride and I take him to get ice cream, ride to go to a little jumping place. Like, we could do whatever we want to do. And that's great. So I'm so thankful that my brother did that for me. Gave me a free car. And I'm so happy that my parents, like, let me come back home, because they didn't really have to. My dad always say, thank you for getting groceries. But I'm like, you ain't got to thank me. Thank you for letting me stay here free. And he was like, girl, you my daughter. You going to always have a house, like a room in this house. But my thing is, like, there's a lot of parents that are like, once you hit 18, you get out. Or if something happened, you better figure a way out. Like, my parents are really great. And they really, my mom was like, pack your stuff and come home, and we'll make a room for you and that beautiful little boy. And my brother was straight up like, hey, pack my nephew's stuff, pack your stuff, and I'm on my way to come get y'all. And he did that. And my dad and everybody was happy to have us here. And they still are happy to have us here, even though my son drives everybody absolutely insane, because he is a wild child. He's like Donnie from Wild Thornberries. He is wild now. But he is so sweet. And my mom loves it because he always gives her hugs and stuff. And if he does something like, messed up, he'll be like, I'm sorry, Grandma, and give her a hug and a kiss and stuff. And she's like, baby, I love you. It's all right. And like, he always says, I love my family. I love being with my family. I'm trying to teach him what that means. Like, we respect our family. We don't walk out on our family. We don't be mean to our family. We don't hit our family. We don't hurt our family. We don't say things that are mean to our family and hurt our family's feelings. That's family. We're family. I guess you could tell that's like a big thing for me. Just family. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow I'll do a little blog about me walking around my job and showing stuff, since that's kind of interesting, right? And showing you my car and how it looks. Don't judge. It's free and it's going to be running soon, and I'm going to get everything fixed up. And then we're going to go through that whole process, and y'all get to see me learn how to drive and drive like a normal person at the old age that I am. And yeah, and you also get to, hopefully see our come up story. Hopefully we have a glow up, me and my son. Like, you know, go from mama house to our own house. Go from no car to a car. Go from no life to a bunch of beautiful things in life. No life to a life. And, you know, school adventures and stuff and all of that. My son's birthday is coming up, so technically me and my ex-husband have officially been separated for 1 year. I'm assuming he's going to serve me with divorce papers soon. I'm prepared to sign them because at this point, like I said, he's not even the person I married. He's not even the person that I know. So it's just like, dang, you know? And I know she's probably like, well, you need to hurry up and have her sign it, and you need to be divorced. So he's going to do that immediately. I can tell that she kind of runs it. She runs it. And that's fine. Not my situation anymore. As long as she's good to my son and don't overstep her boundaries, then we good. And he's his dad, so that's it about that. I had wished that we would just still be friends and be cool and stuff like that, but you can't do that type of shit when somebody does all the things that they do. And like I said, I don't accept the apology. When the apology is real, it'll be I apologize and won't be no ifs, ands, and buts or trying to shame me or make me feel like I did something wrong. It'll be an actual apology, and the apology will be as loud as the disrespect was, which means clearing my name and saying, okay, she wasn't like this and she didn't do this, and yes, she did have my back. I just did it. You know, I fell in love with somebody else. He'll be real and be honest. That's how I would accept the apology. But right now, fucking apology, I don't really need it. But like I said, that's the only apology I will accept. I don't know how somebody can go to church, do all that praying and crying, and still live a lie and go off of the lie and tell the lies every day like they're the truth. But we two different people now. We used to be the same, but we different. My hair looks crazy. But yep. That's it for this moment. I'm going to go to sleep since it's like 1 in the morning and get ready to wash all these daggone clothes I got. I wonder what this button do. I'm gonna see in a minute. What is that? I don't know what that is. It doesn't do anything. It's a little circle button over here in the left corner. What is that for? I see a sun. What is that? Oh. Look dumb. So bright. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to do all this laundry that I technically have piled up. Ridiculous. I'm going to do all that laundry tomorrow. So I have to get up at 7. I have to get up at 7 a.m. Well, 7:30. The laundromat opens at 8, so I have to get up at 7:30, get my clothes in my brother's car. My dad will drive us to the laundromat, and then I will pay $20 to wash a load of clothes. I pay $20 every week to wash my load of clothes. So I'll be paying $20 to wash this load, wash and dry it, and then come home, go through the clothes, put on some fresh, clean jeans, a nice shirt, and go to work. And come home, and my baby should be home. A lot of these vlogs that I'll be trying to do will be on weekends because that's the time his daddy has him. And I don't really want to put him in too many videos unless we're going out somewhere and I can just record him being silly. But other than that, yep, that is about it. And I'm going to put maybe some random clips in here of my baby dancing and being crazy. Or just being crazy. So, oh, it's a cute little Spider-Man app thing he did where he put his face on Spider-Man, the little boy. And yeah, it's so cute. And he put his face on a grown man and it looks so weird. And I'm going to insert that with this because I think it's cool. And I think you guys will think it's cool. And I like the face swap thing. My niece put my face on some people and I look like a kind of like guy. I ain't look right. My features too strong. But, you know, whatever. I don't have that soft, feminine type of face. Got thick nose, you know, strong jaws. So we good. But, yep. I'll see y'all, I guess, next time. Bye.
Send it to my dad. It's going to pretend I had a Spider-Man costume. You should watch your mouth. You should watch your mouth. You should watch your